Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get lost in negative thoughts? Maybe someone said something hurtful, and you keep replaying it again and again. Or perhaps your mind keeps reminding you of every mistake, every failure, every moment you wish you could change. Negative thoughts can feel like storms, dark clouds that block out our inner peace. But the Buddha taught us something deeply liberating. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Today, we'll explore how to let go of negative thoughts, not by fighting them, but by understanding them. Because freedom doesn't come from controlling the mind. It comes from seeing clearly what the mind is doing. So, find a quiet space. Take a deep breath. And let's begin this journey together, the Buddhist way of letting go. Understanding the nature of thoughts. In Buddhism, the mind is compared to a river, always flowing, changing, never still. Thoughts arise and pass away just like waves on the surface of water. But the problem begins when we believe every thought that passes through. When a negative thought appears, "I'm not good enough, I'll never be happy, nobody cares," we grab it, hold it, and make it our identity. The Buddha discovered that suffering doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from how we relate to our thoughts about what happens. If we can see thoughts as just mental events like clouds drifting across the sky, we begin to find freedom. You are the sky, not the clouds. You are the awareness behind every thought, not the thought itself. This is the first insight. Negative thoughts are not you. They are visitors. They come, they stay for a while, and they leave. The habit of holding on. Why do we hold on to negative thoughts? Because the mind is conditioned to protect us from danger. It remembers pain to prevent future pain. But in doing so, it often creates more suffering than it avoids. Buddhism calls this dukkha, the constant dissatisfaction that arises when we resist what is or cling to what we wish would be. When something painful happens, our mind wants to analyze, replay, fix, justify. It keeps spinning the story, and soon that story becomes who we think we are. But we can choose another path. Awareness instead of attachment. When a negative thought appears, say to yourself, "This is just a thought. It's not reality." That simple acknowledgement begins to dissolve its power. The power of mindfulness. The Buddha taught mindfulness as the foundation of liberation. Mindfulness means knowing what is happening while it's happening. So when a negative thought arises, you simply notice it. You don't push it away and you don't follow it. You watch it with gentle curiosity. For example, I notice anger is here. I see worry arising. I feel fear in my body. You're not judging, you're observing. In that moment, you shift from being the thinker to being the witness. That space between awareness and reaction is where freedom begins. Every time you notice a negative thought without reacting, it loses energy. It fades naturally, like smoke in the wind. The three poisons of the mind. Buddhism teaches that three forces create most of our mental suffering. 1. Greed, wanting things to be different than they are. 2. Hatred, rejecting or resisting what we dislike. 3. Delusion, not seeing things as they truly are. Negative thoughts are often born from these poisons. When we want control, when we push away pain, or when we misunderstand ourselves, the mind becomes cloudy. But meditation and mindfulness purify these poisons. They help us see clearly, accept reality, and let go of unnecessary struggle. The antidote to greed is contentment. The antidote to hatred is loving kindness. The antidote to delusion is wisdom. When we cultivate these qualities, negative thinking naturally weakens. Compassion toward yourself. Most people are kind to others, but cruel to themselves. We speak gently to friends, but harshly to our own minds. Buddhism teaches that self-compassion is not selfish, it's essential. When you notice negative self-talk, pause and ask, "Would I say this to a friend I love?" If not, you don't need to say it to yourself either. The Buddha encouraged metta, loving kindness, starting with yourself. Try repeating quietly, "May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I let go of thoughts that hurt." When you bring compassion to your inner world, the tight grip of negativity begins to soften. The impermanence of all things. One of the deepest Buddhist teachings is anicca, impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever. Every thought, no matter how dark, will eventually pass. No emotion stays forever. Just as clouds move across the sky, your sadness, anger, fear, all are temporary guests. When you truly understand impermanence, you stop fighting what is. You stop saying, "This should not be here," and instead whisper, "This too shall pass." Peace doesn't come from controlling thoughts. It comes from understanding that you don't have to control them at all. Transforming negative thoughts into wisdom. When we bring awareness to negativity, it transforms. A painful memory becomes compassion. A mistake becomes understanding. A failure becomes humility. The Buddha never said life would be free from pain, only that we can be free from suffering about the pain. When a negative thought appears, treat it like a teacher, not an enemy. Ask, "What is this trying to show me? What can I learn from this feeling?" Every shadow can lead to light when seen with wisdom. Daily practice of letting go. Now, let's bring this teaching into your daily life. Morning. When you wake up, take one mindful breath and say, "Today, I begin fresh." During stress, when negative thoughts arise, say, "This is only a thought. It will pass." Before sleep, reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude cleanses the mind of negativity. Let go again and again, gently, patiently, kindly. Like unclenching a fist that's been tight for too long. Remember, Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over what you can't control. The Buddha said, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past again and again. So breathe deeply, smile softly, let go of what no longer serves you, and discover the quiet joy that was always within you, waiting, patient, and free.